Seems like the world of factory-built, full-size off-road pickup trucks has gotten kind of crazy lately. Everybody's wanting to get in the game. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, they all want in the game, and they're all bringing us their own special brand of this type of truck. But a couple of those trucks might be a little too outlandish or even too expensive for some people's taste. And yes, I'm talking about the F-150 Raptor and Raptor R and the Ram TRX. But there is still a somewhat lower level of still pretty serious factory-built off-road trucks. You got the F-150 Tremor, the Tundra TRD Pro, the Nissan Titan Pro 4X that unfortunately is going away. And then of course you have this, the Chevy Silverado ZR2. But this isn't just your regular run-of-the-mill Chevy Silverado ZR2. This is the Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison Edition. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're doing great today. Welcome back to That Car Vlog channel. If you don't already know, my name is Andy, and today we're going to take a full tour and look at this 2024 Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison. That is a long name. Let's get to it.
But before we begin, I'd like to thank the folks at West Chevrolet of Alcoa, Tennessee for allowing me to use this ZR2 Bison for today's review. Once you're done watching this video, make sure you check them out at the link in the description below.
Now, so I'm going to take you all on a tour, but I'm going to try to be not quite as in-depth as I have been on previous Silverado models. I have already covered this generation of Silverado, but it was in the form of a Z71 Trail Boss with a 2.7 four-cylinder. Here we're going to take a closer look at what makes this thing not only a ZR2, but more specifically a Bison. And we'll go ahead and start the tour up front like I always do and just kind of take a look at the general styling right now. I love the way this thing looks. This is the grille that you get on your ZR2 trim of the Silverado. You can see they kind of run the body color lines through this thing instead of chrome, instead of it being all black. Nice accent against that gloss black grille. You get the big Chevy flow tie instead of the bow tie. It's outlined in red. You can see, shove my whole hand right through that thing. It's going to allow even more air to get to that radiator than you would get with just a standard giant Chevy bow tie right here. Of course, you got your ZR2 badge here on the trim, looks really nice. Otherwise, you get pretty much the same setup with the headlights. You get your nice kind of C-shaped DRLs over here. You can see on the other side how they double as your turn signals as well. Then as we make our way down even further, you're going to notice the first thing that makes this thing specifically a Bison. Now, the way Chevy makes the Bison edition of their trucks is they work together with a company called AEV, American Expedition Vehicles. And they build these trucks with these AEV specific parts to create the Bison edition. They do this both with the Silverado and with the new Colorado, which I've already covered on the channel. Hopefully that video is already up. But let's take a look specifically at the AEV upgrades here. We'll take a look at the specific AEV upgrades that make this a Bison as we go around the exterior of this truck. So you see you get this upgraded AEV bumper. It's this nice big tough thing made of steel, allows these tires to poke out a little bit, and it gives you a much better approach angle of just over a little over 30 degrees. Actually, it's pretty nice. You get built-in recovery hooks right here, recovery points here, make it easy to pull you out or maybe for you to pull somebody else out. Little AEV logo right down there on the fake grills. I'm going to give it a slight knock for that fakeness, but oh well. Get your LED fog lights right down there. And of course you get the AEV stamped in there where the license plate would go up front. While we're up front, let's go up here on top of the hood and look at this giant black hood bulge. And yes, it's dirty. It's beginning of April in East Tennessee and pollen is everywhere, and we did not have time to run this thing through a wash. Anyways, you get the big black hood bulge right here with the badging for your 6.2 liter V8 under the hood. If this was the diesel option, it would have, of course, have a Duramax badge right there. And you get, instead of Silverado, ZR2 right here on the fender. As we make our way down from the fender, looking right here at these wheels, you get these AEV specific black wheels right here. And yeah, they are black, so it might be kind of hard to see, but let's zoom in here. There it is on the cap, although it's upside down. You got your AEV logo right there. Specific wheels for your AEV Bison. Now your standard ZR2 comes from the factory with 33-inch mud terrain tires. I do believe that this ZR2 Bison comes with 35s. These kind of look like 35s to me. You also get these rock rails right here from the factory, which of course is going to help you to protect that body, those rocker panels, if you're really getting serious out there on the off-road. And then underneath the truck, you've got skid plates for days. You got that one up front like you would normally expect. You got one right here that's going to cover up your transfer case. Got one right here for your gas tank, and way back there you got one covering your rear diff. Definitely a lot of nice skid plating under this thing because they expect you to get pretty serious off-road with these. You also get upgraded suspension with these things, beefed up springs, and you also get front and rear, right here, the Multimatic DSSV dampers on those shocks. Between all the suspension upgrades plus the big tires, you got 3 inches more height over a standard four-wheel drive Silverado. Total ground clearance on this thing 11.2 inches. So we make our way around the back. You also get an upgraded rear bumper. Check this thing out. Once again, we want to improve the departure angle as well as the approach angle. So we're going to upgrade this rear bumper to allow for that. Once again, this is just a big, tough steel bumper on the back of this thing. A little bit more of that fake grills, whatever. You do get the factory built-in recovery points right there on the rear as well. Little AEV badge over here on the driver's side. Of course, here's your tow package, and here's all your connectors for your trailer and for your trailer cameras, that kind of thing. Of course, you can easily identify the Bison version of this truck, either if you just know or by the badging. You got the AEV Bison badge right here on the tailgate. And then over here on both sides of the bed, you get the Bison sticker right there. It looks really nice on the side of the bed. All right, so let's take a more broad look at the rear end of the truck real quick. Now you can see here, you're looking at Chevy's optional multi-flex tailgate, which is right around a $445 option, which considering the price of new trucks nowadays is really not a lot of money for such a cool tailgate. So let's take a look at this thing. Now this particular example does have the optional folding tonneau cover. I've opened that up to make this a bit easier to demonstrate. So let's go ahead and talk about the tailgate. Now, first of all, how it looks. Normally this tailgate is all one color, but here on the Bison, they blacked out this upper portion just to give it a little bit more distinction. And of course, you've got the black Chevy badge right here. On the back here, you got a puddle light for seeing things at night, and you got your backup camera right here that will also look right down on the trailer hitch. And then between those, you've got two buttons. You got one down here on the lower that releases the entire tailgate, and then you got this upper one right here. Push this button and the upper portion of the tailgate is released. And this is really cool. Now this is where the cool functions begin. Say you've got some items that are longer than the bed. Maybe they're not a whole lot longer, but they're still longer, and you don't want to send them over the top of the tailgate. Pull this down, you can send them right out here. But say you're worried about them sliding out, but maybe they're just barely short enough for this part to block them. Put this up, and now they're going to be blocked between this and the front of the bed. It's going to be harder for those items to get out. I'm going to close all this back up. But that's not the only function that this tailgate has. Hit the lower button here to lower the tailgate, and while we're at it, hit that upper button to lower the other portion. Now we're going to take that partition, put it down, and now you've got a step to get into the back of your truck. You've also got this handle right here that's in the bed of the truck. And now to get in, all you got to do is grab that handle and step right on in to the bed of your Silverado. And with the biggest trucks I've gotten nowadays, and especially once you lift them even more, they're much harder to get into. This is a great handy option to get in here, and once you're ready to get out, just kind of back on down, use that handle to stabilize. You're just going to put that handle away and close everything up. And now you're ready to roll. All right, time to climb into the interior of the Silverado ZR2 Bison. I do like the blacked out door handles against the gray paint. It looks really nice. Stepping on in, and you're looking now at the pretty much the interior color option that you get with these trucks. You got these multiple shades of gray and black, a little bit of yellow contrast stitching. I think it looks nice. I'm not sure what to call this pattern right here, but it still looks nice. Turning around from there, you got your seats right here. They are fully power adjustable. Nice ZR2 sill plate right here inside the door. Now here on the inside, I'm not going to go into too much painstaking detail. I'll just show you the things that are kind of nice for 2024 and some of my favorite things. So looking here at the steering wheel, pretty much all your Silverados have this. They've had this for quite a while. You do get the blacked out Chevy badge for the ZR2 Bison. On the back side of the wheel, you got some audio controls here, left and right, and you got some paddle shifters up and down for that 10-speed automatic transmission. Otherwise, you got all your typical buttons for your adaptive cruise, to control your center screen right here, phone and voice controls, that kind of thing. And you got the heated seat button right here on the steering wheel, right there. Touch it with your thumb as you're driving. That's the most logical place to put a heated steering wheel button, on the steering wheel. Here you got the 12.3-inch gauge cluster screen, which is a great screen. I really like this screen. I've covered this one in the full review of that Trail Boss with the 4-cylinder, so I'll link that video down in the description below. It's going to have a lot of more specific things I'm not going to cover in today's video, including this gauge cluster screen. As far as the screen goes, I really like it. It presents you with a lot of nice information. It's clear, it's vivid, and of course you can decide how you want it to look. Classic, maybe progressive. Check that out, change that. And there's a progressive screen. One thing I don't like is how long it takes for it to change the screens. I wish they would make that a bit faster. Of course, here's your full digital, and you got clean screen, which is going to give you a lot less information. I'm going to put it back on progressive because I like the way that looks, even though most people are probably going to like the more classic looking gauges. This screen is divided into two parts. This larger upper part, which has the majority of your information, And this lower part right here, it's going to contain more things like temperature, fuel range, that kind of thing. And the amount that you see above and below this line is going to slightly differ based on what screen orientation you're in. My biggest disappointment with this particular 12.3-inch screen is the fact that you do not have an available full screen map. I've not seen that on any of these, whether it's on the 1500s or the 2500s. I wish Chevy would offer it in these. They are offering it now in the new 2024 Colorado. I just did the ZR2 Colorado review, and it has an upgraded screen, which has a full screen map option. So I'm really hoping that Chevy will migrate it into these larger trucks because it's a really nice option. I don't necessarily think they need to get rid of this particular type of screen. Just need to upgrade the software, get us a full screen map. I mean, it's a nice screen. And then over here in the center, you got your 13.4-inch infotainment screen, which is standard on all your ZR2 trucks. And I like this. I do like this screen. It's a nice screen. It's very responsive. It's got a lot of great things in it. Of course, you got Google Assistant, you got Google Maps over here, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and of course on this right side you can decide what you want to see, whether the maps or the radio or your trailer status or just a big clock. You can decide what you want to see over there. And of course, you want the map full screen, just tap right here, you get the big full screen map, or you can drag that back over and have something else displayed over here to the right of that map if you want. It's a nice screen. I do like this thing. Like I said, pretty responsive, easy to use. I like this thing. We click on cameras right here, you're going to get a nice view out the front. It does have a front facing camera. You got the top down view as well to see all around the truck. You can take that away if you want, but I like to have it there. Click that again, it's going to get you a rear view, see the tripod behind the truck. Click over here, you're going to get the top down on the nose, top down on the bed. And of course, here's going to be your view down both sides of the truck looking towards the rear. Not my favorite view on these Chevy trucks. It is quite grainy. Click that again though, and you do get now looking at the front. Check out the wheels turning as it turn them. You can tell you're looking at the front of the truck. This is nice and handy if you're worried about hitting curbs or kids or pets or whatever in a big truck like this. Lots of great camera angles to ensure that nothing like that happens. Now this particular example does come with a technology package, so not only do you have the adaptive cruise, but there's two more things you get. One, you get the digital rear view mirror camera system. I love this. I think this is one of the greatest things Chevy ever did, and they were pretty much the pioneers of this, which I think is great. Now if you don't like the camera, of course you can switch it to a standard rear view. But I mean, come on, this truck is so big, you get a nice, perfect, clear view out the rear with this camera. You do get some adjustment, you get brightness adjustment. If that's too bright for you, cool. You can zoom in or out with it. And of course, you can take it up or down depending on just exactly the view that you want. You can customize the view out of this camera as well. The other thing you get with your technology package is this heads-up display, which is, I think, a really great display. Nice and bright and vibrant, although you can dim that if you want. Repositionable. And you get some great information on here, like there's your driver assist features, there's your turn-by-turn directions or your compass, and of course here's your off-road functions with your four-wheel drive status, pitch and roll, that kind of thing. Now we'll make our way back down to below our infotainment screen and talk about the array of buttons you get right here. You get a lot of neat features right here. Starting over on the right, you get the buttons for your locking diffs, one for the rear, one for both front and rear, hill descent control, traction control off. Here's one to release your tailgate. Now this is not a power tailgate, so this just releases it, but it's nice and handy. You got somebody who's got their arms full of stuff, you're sitting in the truck, just hit that button, release the tailgate for them. That'll turn off your auto start stop, which is of course what you want. That'll take care of your parking sensors, and that's for your lane keeping assist right there. Below that, start stop button, integrated trailer brake controller, and dual zone climate control with heated seats and cooled seats. And one thing I like that Chevy does with their heated seats, you get the option to turn on just the seat back or the seat back and bottom, depending on how much you want to heat up. 3 levels on each of those, or you get the nice air conditioned seats, which I like. Over here, you get your typical array of physical climate control buttons. I love that Chevy's still giving us physical controls. You can, if you want, come up to the screen, go into climate, and operate those things on the screen, but I mean, come on, it's quicker and easier to just do it right here. And then over here on the far side, you do have a USB Type A and Type C charging ports right there. Making our way further down, you get a little bit of storage right here, dual cup holders, little place to put maybe your cell phone or whatever. It's a little bit of narrow storage. And right here you can see you got the electronic console mounted shifter rather than the column mounted lever up here. This thing is kind of interesting. I want to go over this. So this is pretty much like most modern shifters. Push the side button right here and pull back and you've got drive. Just simply push it forward, you've got neutral. Push the button and push all the way forward, you get reverse. And if you want to put it in park, just hit the P button on the top of this. Now, I do not like the location of the park button right here because I know I'm not the only person out there who likes to drive with one hand on the wheel and one resting on the shifter. It's just a nice, comfortable position to hold your arm in when you're driving. You got this big console right here. I mean, come on, you're just cruising down the highway, driving with your left, you got your right sitting here. Kind of wondering how many times someone's going to accidentally hit that park button driving the truck. Hopefully there's a fail-safe for that. Back from that, you got this little slot right here. Just slide your phone in there. It is your wireless cell phone charger. Check it out right there. There she goes. And of course you open up the center console and you got even better access to that. You've also got access to another USB type A and type C port. You get a 120 volt house type port right there. Nice big storage tray. Pull that out. You get some pretty deep storage right there. It doesn't look too bad. There goes my broken phone. I've got to get that screen fixed. Phone works great. The screen's just messed up. Close that console lid, you get two more cup holders right here, which could be used for the front, but most likely they're probably going to be used for the rear. Let's look back towards the ceiling because your ZR2 Bison also has a sunroof in it. You got all your controls right here. You can tilt that glass. Nice tilting glass right there. Tilt it back down, or you can just open it right up. Ta-da! Stop it at any point that you want and close it right back up. And let's block that sun out. Over here on the passenger side, you get Chevy's dual glove box. In fact, I think you get these in a lot of full-size trucks now. Ford's doing it too. You got your standard lower glove box right down here, nothing special. It's a pretty good sized glove box. Not insanely large, but not too tiny. And then you got the upper glove box right here. But if you've never been in one of these trucks before, you're gonna wonder how in the world you open this. That is right down here below this climate vent and located next to the screen. Push this button right here and that door pops right up. I like how that interesting pattern continues all the way across the dash. You get this kind of nice textured pattern right here on that door. Some may like it, some may hate it, but it's there and it looks pretty cool. And now climbing on into the rear, and once again I like that Chevy made sure that the rear got the same treatment as the front. A lot of more automakers are trying to do that nowadays, and I'd love to see that. Looking in here, you get a storage pocket on the back of both front seats, which is very nice. You get 3-level heated seating right here, and right here's your rear climate vents. In the middle is going to be your Type A and Type C USB chargers. Now this is not a third climate zone. You are at the mercy of the front controls up there, so whatever they get, you get. But hey, at least you get climate vents back here. Look at the seats, they look pretty nice. I do like the way they look, and there's some neat touches in these seats. Here in the seat backs on both sides, you can open that up and get a little bit of storage right here. Close that up, you can hide things away from people. Right here in the center, pull that down. Of course, you get an armrest with cup holders. Pretty standard fare, and definitely something that you expect to see in most modern trucks. Glad to see that's here. And then right down here, if we pick up on the bottom of the seats, you get under seat storage. Now, of course, most of your modern trucks are going to fold up. You get a lot of floor storage, but this has the separated storage box underneath the seats, so you can store some things down in here. Once again, you're going to be able to hide some things from public view and from the weather. Put that back down, and you get 3 people in the rear. And now, of course, climbing into the rear, this is why big guys like me love modern full-size trucks, because there's so much space back here. It's easy to get into if you can get up with the lift. Lots of headroom, plenty of leg room, especially if your knees suck like mine. It's nice back here. I like it. I do wish it was a third climate zone, but hey, whatever, it is what it is. You do at least get the heated seats for the winter, so that's pretty nice. All right, time to get up underneath the hood of this beast and talk about what's powering it. Hold on a second. All right, that's better. Now we can talk about what's powering this truck. Now your Silverado ZR2, whether it's a Bison or not, comes with your option of 2 different engines. Your standard engine option is going to be the 3-liter inline-6 Duramax diesel, producing about 305 horsepower, 495 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy estimated about 20 miles per gallon city, 22 highway, 21 combined. Or for an extra $1,500, you can get what's in this beast right here, the 6.2-liter V8 gasoline engine. This thing puts out 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. So you get more power and about 35 less pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy in this is going to be worse. However, 14 city, 17 highway, 15 combined. Your 0 to 60 information comes from the Car and Driver article that I used in research for this video. Right around 5.7 to 6 seconds 0 to 60 time. Obviously, you're not setting any speed records for this thing. It's not for racing. That's not what it's about. This thing is for going off-road. Transmission option is of course what you would expect in a modern Chevy truck, your 10-speed automatic transmission, and naturally being a ZR2, you're coming standard with 4-wheel drive, 2-speed transfer case, locking front and rear diffs, standard on all ZR2 Silverados. And I'd say that this gas engine probably sounds a bit better than the 6-liter Duramax. Let's see if I'm right or not. Let's get out here and drive the Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison. Just as a fair heads up, as with most of my West Chevy cars, I'm not able to get it out on the highways, but I always like to do my best to convey what I can right here in the business park that we're in. So let's take this thing for a drive, shall we? Now, of course, the first thing you're going to notice about this thing is, one, you are high up because this thing is lifted and you're looking out over this big bulbous hood with that big hood bulge on it. you can definitely tell you are not riding low in this thing, which is what you want. It's an off-road truck, so naturally you're not going to be riding very low. For those who don't drive big trucks, it might be a little intimidating at first, but yeah, you get used to it. I don't know why I always talk about the intimidation factor. As far as comfort is concerned, it's not bad in here. It's what you'd expect. It's pretty typical. You do have a bit more side bolstering. You can feel that right there, but it's not uncomfortable. It's more of a, hey, that's there for when you're jostling back and forth off-road, but it's not bad. Visibility is what you expect in a truck this large. It's good outside view mirrors. Yeah, you can flip the rear view mirror down and get a standard view, but who wants that? You got the digital rear view camera style right there, which is great. Right now it's a nice warm day. It's almost 70 degrees. I've got the cooled seats on and they really do feel good in this truck. Of course, this being a lifted off-road version of the truck with the big mud terrain tires on it, although they are just 33s, it's almost unbelievable we're living in a world now where a factory off-road built pickup truck comes out and you can say that it only has 33s. You know, with things like the Bronco Raptor coming standard with 37s. As far as noise from those tires, you're going to get some road noise, although it's noticeable if you're listening for it, is how I want to say that. It's not obnoxious. It's not like it's going to drive you insane. You could take this on a road trip, play you some music, you'll never hear it. But it is worth noting that it is there. Now, the suspension actually feels a little bit harsh, actually. Like, it's not bad. Like, it's not like it's killing you or anything. But pretty much every bump, every imperfection in this road, I am feeling those imperfections. Like I said, it's not bad. And once you get out on a nice, smoothly paved highway, if you can find any of those here in Tennessee, then it's fine. And like I said, it's not so harsh that it's going to drive you nuts, but you are definitely going to feel it. This is an off-road tuned truck. It's not tuned for a soft, luxurious ride. This thing is made to go into some pretty serious places. Now, once again, in this tester, we do have the 6.2 liter gasoline V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, like I also said before, I did find 0 to 60 estimates in the range of about 5.7 to 6 seconds. So let's just see how it does. It pulls pretty hard. I mean, it's not a race truck. It's not like, you know, this is not a TRX or a Raptor R or anything like that. But, you know, for what it is, and excuse my tripod flopping around back there, for what it is and the engine size and the 420 horsepower, it's decent. It's good. You get the power you need for the road, for passing, for accelerating on ramps, and, you know, for climbing over obstacles and stuff. As far as power in general, if you're not just doing 0 to 60 runs, if you need to pass somebody, you're doing 30 miles an hour, just it'll do pretty good. And it's not bad. You're not setting any 0 to 60 records or anything like that, but you get what you need, and it still feels good. And at least from the inside, that 6.2 actually does sound pretty good. I personally think actually it sounds better from the inside than the outside. If it were up to me, I'd put some aftermarket exhaust on it if I was able to buy it. But that's, once again, that's my opinion. All right, so what is a truck like this going to cost you? A Silverado ZR2 Bison. Suffice to say, it's not going to be cheap, but what is nowadays? So your standard ZR2 Silverado is going to start you with a diesel engine right around 71,000, almost 71,009. So let's say 72,000. You can upgrade for a little bit more to this, a 6.2 liter gasoline V8. That's going to start you right around 73,590, so 73,006. Then you're going to want to equip the Bison package, which gives you all those upgrades I showed you on the inside and outside of the truck. That's going to run you an additional $8,400, bringing you to a sticker price of right around $84,000 for one of these trucks. Now, yes, that is a lot of money, but that's pretty much where a lot of your off-road specific trucks are sitting now. I went online and looked up the starting prices of other similar trucks, and it's pretty comparable actually. So your TRD Pro is going to start you right around 72. Your F-150 Tremor is going to start you right around 61. Now, yeah, that is absolutely not cheap, but what is nowadays? But if you stack this thing up against even more hardcore trucks, such as your Ford Raptor, which starts at $76,000, and that's for the EcoBoost version. If you want the Raptor R, the V8, you're not buying one of those for under $100,000, period. And you can easily option your standard Raptor up pretty close, definitely over 80, probably even $90,000. I just looked at a brand new 2024 Ford Raptor last night, the night before filming this video, and the sticker price on that thing was over $90,000. Then you have the Ram TRX, you know, the biggest, baddest Ram of them all, with the 702 horsepower Hellcat engine in it. That thing starts at $96,000. So once again, you're not getting one of those for under 100, pretty much. At least not brand new. So yeah, this is not a cheap truck, but nothing is. Like I like to say, cross shop, check them all out, see what you like. I think this is a pretty cool truck. I like this thing. And like I say in all my videos of cool things I can't have, I wish I could take this thing home. All right, y'all, so that's gonna do it for the 2024 Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison with the 6.2 V8. I like this truck. This thing is cool. Badass, some might say. I love the lifted suspension, the big mud terrain tires. The way it looks is cool enough, and the ZR2's trim already comes with a lot of great off-road tech and some great inside tech, and the Bison just takes it a step further than that with the better bumpers, the nicer wheels, and that tailgate's pretty cool too. Now yes, almost $85,000 as this one is priced is a lot of money, but this is a lot of truck, and let's face it, if you're looking at brand new factory built off-road trucks, everything's expensive now. If you're shopping for a factory built off-road specific truck, I definitely encourage you to put one of these on your shopping list. Find one, test it out if you're able to, and see what you think against the other options, because like I said, cool. For about the 30th time, I'm sure. If you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, that makes me extremely happy. If you did, make sure to go back to the channel, check out the rest of the videos I've got on there. I've got a lot of great reviews on there, a lot of cool vehicles, and more cool things to come. If you like what you see on the channel, consider becoming a subscriber. Let's help grow this channel as big as we possibly can, you know, and encourage me to review more cool things like this, because I quite enjoy doing it. Once again, huge special thanks to the folks at West Chevrolet of Alcoa, Tennessee for allowing me to use this ZR2 Bison for today's review. Once you're done watching the video, make sure you go to the description where you're going to find a link to their website. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.